Man, if there was a fight I could avoid on this card, it would probably be the Maycee Barber Montana De La Rosa fight. There's probably a reason why we're all still so bitter. It's because the last time we saw Maycee was against Miranda Maverick. We know how that one went. A lot of people got hit a little bit on there. That was actually one of the first few Super Saiyan losses I took, and I wasn't too pleased about it based on the circumstance. But we move on, and we grow from our mistakes. And the one thing about Maycee Barber that I absolutely, can't help but laugh at is the fight from Alexa Grasso going into into Miranda Maverick is a pretty big deal. And I almost wanted to make the joke about, finding her range. I guess it took her an entire fight, but she looked a lot better on the feet against Miranda Maverick. And, training with Alpha Male, putting a lot more time into that striking game and the MMA game overall, you can see that she's becoming a much more complete fighter. I think with Maycee, the thing you'll notice is obviously age will play a factor into something like this, but like octagon confidence, being able to gauge a game plan, like the experience factor, all of those things will always be at a disadvantage for her, just based on the age, right? It's going to take time to get to that level, and obviously the girl's got such a promising career, but right now she's just such a difficult fighter to call, and I think it has a lot to do with just the unpredictability of her game planning on the feet. When I say on the feet, I mean like on the fly. You see that she's got an absolutely phenomenal ability to just push forward and try to get the fight to where she wants it. I think that is her best quality as a fighter, and she's fearless about that. Then we look at a fighter like Montana De La Rosa, and, in some of the fights that I've seen her, just take an absolute beating, she's come back very strong from that. I think even at her 27 years old, the experience in this fight is going to speak volumes. I think that you look at her ground game, you look at the way she fights, out of team elevation, there's a lot of durability there. A lot of those fighters just have super durability, and I think with her, you can see that almost it's like that classic, BJJ style fighter who's just willing to take an absolute mauling till they can find their spots to succeed. And the Aaron Lipsky fight was something that I just remember thinking, it's nice to see Montana look that dominant in a fight. And I think this is a great example of where she's finally going to get back into that realm of bigger contenders. And in this case, I think Maycee Barber is riding... I guess you could say riding a high off that Miranda Maverick fight, but if you look at it, there are still areas to improve on. I think the Grasso fight spoke volumes, and then the Miranda Maverick fight kind of gave you an idea of where, both fighters kind of needed to improve, and I thought Miranda Maverick's volume, consistency-wise over the course of 3 rounds was definitely lacking, which is what Maycee Barber kind of picked up as the fight went on and looked a lot better. And that's kind of the case here, right? How good's the cardio going to be? Because the way I see this fight is the winner of the ground game and the ground war, I think will be the winner of the fight. Because Maycee Barber has had hit or miss striking, pun intended. And then you have the Montana De La Rosa striking, which I think looks pretty crisp. She's got pretty good boxing, but it's the ground game. She's got pretty good takedowns. She's got the ability to really look for those, positions where, she basically finished in mount with a massive ground and pound against Lipsky. And it's those, grinding style, level changing aspects of the fight game that I want to see more, especially against a fighter like Maycee Barber that seems to be really okay with, finding her way over the course of 3 rounds and then picking it up later. You look at the fight with Alexa Grasso. I mean, I can simply remember that fight where Alexa Grasso was just being talked about so much as a boxer, and then she went to town on the ground game and showed off her wrestling. And I think that's where I want to see Montana De La Rosa take this fight. I think that Maycee Barber has, if there's anything that she's been consistent with, is showing a pretty good ability to at least stay in the fight and then try to take over later if she finds areas to be able to do so. Montana De La Rosa, keep that pace going, man. Use that durability to your advantage and just go for broke early on. I think giving Maycee time is a huge disadvantage to her and more an advantage to Barber. And when you think about what Maycee needs to do, it's a lot of that similar stuff, right? Level changing. Find the range. Don't waste your energy throwing punches that are falling on, air. I think that her cardio and durability is so good that if she can find ways to be a little bit more, successful in the first round, I think she'd find ways to be able to just implement her game plan a lot sooner rather than have the durability, take a damage, wait for her opponent to get injured, and then find ways to try and win. There's an absolute game plan for here, and I think she needs to execute that a lot sooner. Whereas Montana De La Rosa, like I said, man, it's going to be level changing, huge boxing, like make her hurt. Get this into tough places, grind it. I think that's where Montana De La Rosa actually do a much better job than Maycee Barber in those very ugly, tough spots. I think that's exactly where you want this to take. And I think this is a pick'em. I would give a slight edge to Maycee Barber because she's such a fan favorite. Everybody expects so much from her. She's got the win over Miranda Maverick now, and if you look at it this way, you're not going to remember the fight if you're kind of new to this game. So it's still a win over Miranda Maverick at face value. So I'm going with a pick'em with a lean towards Barber as a favorite. It just makes the most sense based on recency bias. So let's take a look. Maycee Barber is a minus 180 favorite, now entering the minus 200 range. I might need to do a little bit more tape study to see if Montana De La Rosa is a very live dog here from a betting perspective, because I'm just really skeptical about how high this line is right now. I really do believe it deserves to be more to pick 'em. I think that Montana De La Rosa's ability to, stay in a fight, be durable, defend, and then look for opportunities, whether it's on the feet or on the ground, will keep her in this fight. And looking at lines of about plus 155, I think there's an opportunity there personally, so I'll be keeping an eye on that one.